Alright guys, Kremp here and I hope you're doing good and enjoying your day so far. Drama going into Major 4 in Dallas. Envoy is at it again, talking about some of the Challengers drama not that long ago, but now he's mentioning one of the former Challengers players in SupeR who has stepped into the Miami Heretics. As far as Envoy is concerned, SupeR's playstyle is not necessarily conducive to long-term team success, saying that yeah, he's showing great numbers, but that's because he's baiting his entire team, and if Envoy was playing that role, his numbers would be even better than a guy like SupeR. Some though disagree on SupeR's efficacy. We know that Octane has been a pretty big fan of him as of late. What's going to happen between Thieves and Heretics if and when we go to LAN, which we do? They could play each other in the second round of the bracket. Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Plenty of drama to get into today. This is pretty cool. Simp's 41st competitive event. Average tournament placing 2.5. Won 33% of events competed in. Grand finals in 68% of events is a ridiculous stat. 34 in 6 career record in the first matches of the tournament. Of course, FaZe will play Cloud9 in their first match on Friday. Only once in his career has he gone 2 major tournaments in a row without a finals appearance. Of course, last events, they were not in the grand finals. They came top 6. So, in 41 events, if he doesn't make a grand finals, he will be in the next one every time. Only once has that not happened. So, yeah, would you be surprised to see FaZe in the finals this weekend? No, but can anyone else do it? I mean, yeah, absolutely. Thieves, Surge, maybe Toronto, maybe OpTic, of course. Potential dark horse for the tournament as well, if you want to consider them that. So, yeah, Drazah's been looking for some chals. Dashy, TJ, Kremp, and everything, trying to get involved. Speaking of TJ, there was this comment that he made. Rewind Hardpoint is a great map. What a great addition to the map ball. Hats off to everyone behind the scenes, adding these new godlike maps into the rotation W. So, clearly TJ isn't very happy about it. What do you guys think about Rewind coming back in? Because, of course, they made the call. They dropped Protocol Hardpoint out of there. They put Rewind back in. This was a league decision. Now, the players didn't get to choose about this. And to be fair, even if the players did, TJ may have voted against it. The other teams may have voted for it. You never really know. I like it, as you guys know, that the league just make the calls. It's how it is in most esports. The league just decide what they're going to do. Of course, you need to be making the decisions on the right evidence and realizations and having people that actually know what they're talking about behind the scenes to choose good maps. But I think most people would agree that Dealership Search and Destroy was a good addition to the map pool. The pros certainly wouldn't have voted for that. I mean, I remember Ghosty said that he played it a couple of times, he didn't like it, but really they'd never even tried it. But TJ clearly wanting Rewind Hardpoint to possibly go again. Maybe it's going to be a major auto veto for Ravens from now to the end of the season. The reality is though, it's not just Rewind they're struggling at. They're struggling all across the board right now, and mentally they do seem to be just a little bit compromised, this Ravens team. They also play Ravens, the loser at this tournament, of OpTic and Toronto. So, yeah, far from the easiest first round game on paper. And it's going to be a big uphill battle, I think, for those guys to do anything and get anything out of this tournament. This was an interesting moment here. Hicksy tweeted out free agent for DreamHack. Looked like he'd been dropped about 30 minutes before the roster lock. But Denda said so bored. And Hicksy reveals, I think, that he was probably trolling. So, yeah, hopefully that's all good. Because could you imagine that happens before the roster lock? It would be very unfortunate, to say the least. These are the power rankings that we put together on the Breaking Point side. Gentlemate, worst team in the league. Falcons down to 11th. Ravens currently down to 10th. They're down there in the D tier right now, and I think you've got to say that's justified on recent evidence, but they will be at the World Championship. So that's going to be their tournament really to try and deliver something, you would imagine. I mean, look, it's another classic story. You get rid of Vivid, doesn't get better for you. If they'd have kept Vivid, I think they were probably doomed anyway. I think the team was, on a downhill slide for sure, but it's obviously not gone to plan. Cloud9, they've been getting a bit better, but it's still a little shaky, and yeah, right now, Cloud9, Rocker, Boston, and then OpTic, right? So OpTic have been climbing up the rankings. Surge are actually dropping down a little bit, which is interesting, right? Because okay, Surge have actually played pretty well recently. Heretics moving above them feels ambitious, but at the end of the day, Heretics went 5-0 this last stage. They beat Thieves on the way. They beat a number of teams, and right now, who's going to win between Heretics and Surge? Or what do you guys think? It's a tough call. I would probably take Surge, but, it's really difficult to say. And Ultra dropping down to 5th, OpTic in 6th. I mean, yeah, I think we quite clearly have right now in the league a top 6 teams. based on the way that it's gone lately. And, you know, the bottom 6 are pretty clearly defined as the bottom 6. But between the top teams, even then, it's very difficult to call what's going to happen, right? I mean, any of those teams on the left-hand side could make the Sunday, and maybe some teams on the right-hand side could as well. But I think very, very unlikely that any of Rocker, Cloud9, anything like that, make the run all the way to Sunday. And they need to, of course, as we know, if they want to make it to the World Championship. But the drama comes around potentially that number 1 team in Los Angeles, Thieves. Of course, some will disagree, some will say it should be FaZe. We'll see. The Major will tell the story of everything. But thought it was great to see LA Thieves sitting down and running a little bit of a podcast again. We've seen this before over the last few years. We used to get some good content, even back in the Cold War days, from some of the podcasts that Thieves used to do. And now they're running it back again. They've got the beanbags. They're chilling down there. I mean, you know, look at this setup here. It's pretty spectacular, actually. You know, it makes for good podcast vibes. But they talk about a fair few things. But Envoy especially was talking about the new Heretics team. They've, of course, been moving up the power rankings. They could be a serious dark horse threat for this tournament. I mean, who knows how far they can go. They've made 2 Sundays in 3 events this season, Heretics. They've got a top 4. They've got a top 3. Who knows? Maybe they can go one better this event, make the finals, maybe further than that. Who knows? You know, look, I still have my questions in their execution when it comes to LAN, just on a very top level when they play the really best teams. But, you know, I do think the Heretics are massively improved. The Rancor edition was massive for them, and I think SupeR's taken them to an even another level, certainly in their search and destroy online. Whether that can be replicated on LAN is a good question. The Heretics play Rocker in the first round, and if they win that, they play the winner of Thieves and Surge. It could well be Thieves. So we could get an Envoy versus SupeR matchup here on the main stage. But he talks about SupeR's playstyle and says, look, he's not very impressed by it.
Yeah. You know,
people are blaming you on Twitter.
Bad weekend.
Low SKD in the
challenger
the
players. No good challenger players.
Yeah, no good challenger
Getting
players.
ran by these
Been
challenger
pissed
cats.
on both series this weekend, so I don't know. I don't take back any of my statements, but I'm going to have to work harder.
Rookie SupeR had your number.
SupeR.
Don't get me started on how this guy's playing. If I play like that, I might have a 1.6. Baiting the whole damn team. He's got 30. He's got 30 for.
No, you need
30 for a 2-round count difference in the S&Ds.
No, he's playing on 150 FOV. That's why it's like he has to bait.
I mean,
he can't go first. That's for sure. He can't go first.
I'd be sitting next to him. Oh my God, SupeR.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I might be dopeless sitting next to him because he's so far back. But I tip it. You know,
Gotta tip it.
Do you tip
played
it,
well.
though?
Huh?
Do you really?
No, I tip it. I tip it in the short term. In the short term,
They got their get back.
they got their revenge for the 5 series beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The 5 series beforehand.
So no doubt Envoy's been causing some controversy lately, right? Making some statements like this. If I played like that, I'd have a 1.6. He's baiting the whole damn team. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, at the end of the day, they went 5-0 this stage, and they beat Thieves during that run online very recently. Envoy's obviously not impressed by it, but at the end of the day, people always talk about this with Cellium, Dashy back in the day, other players, that, okay, you might be playing for kills, but if that's what the team wants you to do, and that's actually the winning strategy in this moment, and baiting your team is going to help you achieve that, then yeah, absolutely, that's a perfectly fine and reasonable strategy. Envoy may not be impressed by it, but it's clearly effective the way they're currently playing. Now, is this really true? Is SupeR really baiting the team? Okay, maybe in search you could argue it, but you know, in the respawn mode it's not quite so clear. If we have a look at some of the numbers here, just looking at it from, let's say, a Slayer rating perspective, it's not like SupeR is slow, right? I think that's the key point, and it's not like he's getting no objective time either. Like, he is getting some decent amount of time in the hill. He's sitting at a 1.11 in hardpoint on the year. Okay, he's slower than Rancor, he's slower than Royale, but he's significantly faster than Lucky was, right? Like, in terms of kills per 10, SupeR's doing a lot more than Lucky was. So, you know, that's what it looks like in that mode. Of course, in the search and destroy, yeah, is he planting the bomb? No. Is he getting loads of first bloods? Not necessarily, right? But he is getting a load of kills per round, and I mean, yeah, the idea of playing for kills in search and destroy is not a bad thing, right? It's the respawn mode where it's a bit of a question mark. And in the control, okay, he's not been rapid, but still faster than Lucky was by quite some substantial margin. If we look at the numbers on the season, just, you know, player leaderboards and stuff, at least in recent times, SupeR is right up there, right? In terms of Slayer rating as well, he's at an 85. It's not bad. I mean, he's sitting here, where is he roughly on the screen on the left-hand side? About halfway down the league in terms of Slayer rating. He's actually right next to Cellium, right? Which, you know, makes about sense, really. I mean, they probably do similar things for their team at a similar pace. And look, are people going to argue that Cellium... Look, people always argue that, okay, Cellium's playing too much for kills, he's too slow. But actually, this year, I think Cellium has leveled it up a bit more. He's playing a bit faster than he has done in previous titles, and he's being more impactful. And SupeR's kind of impact from like a kills per series perspective is actually very, very similar, right? You see these numbers are almost identical. The two, in terms of Slayer rating, most similar players in the entire league, and the numbers across the rest of the board aren't all that dissimilar either. So, yeah, it's an interesting comparison between these two guys, and at the end of the day, sometimes it does come down to name value, right? Like Envoy... If you put SupeR in Cellium's shoes or whatever, then he wouldn't get criticised because it's Cellium. I know Cellium does get criticised, but, you know, among the players, it's not going to happen. But SupeR's pretty new to the league. Envoy's going to give his take on it, and I think it's pretty spicy stuff. I know that people are going to get annoyed about this, but it's like, at the end of the day, pro players saying that some other pro isn't very good or can't play or, you know, whatever, right? Like, this is not a new phenomenon. This happens in every sport, every esport, and it's good stuff. And SupeR, of course, will disagree. He'll sit, you know, way back from his monitor and try and fry him at the major if that happens. So, you know, definitely a spicy storyline to keep your eyes on. As I say, this is the bracket for the major, starting in just a couple of days. Of course, all the games pretty much happen on the Friday. There's 9 matches on Friday, including all of these, and the second round are losers. But if Thieves beat Surge and Heretics beat Rocker, they will play on the Saturday. And yeah, it doesn't get all that much better than that based on what we are currently seeing. As I say, this is the bracket if you guys haven't seen it, or this is the schedule if you haven't seen it for the rest of the tournament. It's, yeah, going to be a crazy one. I know that people are debating whether it's good or bad to have all these matches happening at the same time on the Friday. We'll see what you guys think, because I'm sure many people haven't really experienced a day where there's multiple matchups, multiple streams, and kind of what that feels like. I think the one thing is, watching from home, I understand why people would prefer it having only, you know, one game on at once, right? So they can just watch it, let's say, series by series. But in person, it makes the event feel so much more like full and lively when you've got multiple stations. Like, I'm sure having the main stage there, having the Bravo stage there, having all the challenges there, in person, it's going to be an amazing experience. I mean, I think it's going to be better for the fans watching from home, to be fair, as well. But I know that people are going to have to figure out how they watch OpTic and FaZe play at the same time. But, you know, maybe the FaZe series is going to be a bit cleaner cut than the other one. That's a possibility anyway. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.
I'm telling you, it looks like 2 on you.
Yeah, 2 you. Another one you.
Let's shoot shot.
You.
Yeah,
I
spot up before.
One's ammo on me. One's ammo on me.
Nice, good shot.
I got time.
Peter, watch out. Watch out the IV.
One was money. One was money.
I've con.
I do watch out.
I have money. You got cat?
Yeah, yeah. Con is open. Our pitch is open. Our U's open.
Money.
Last guy.
I don't see him. I don't see him. He's you, right?
Yeah.
I don't see him. He's dead.
Make sure you block.
I have time, Mark.
We're responding.
I'm about to push out your gun in a second.
This one.
Okay,
one short.
That cat. Yo, two cat.
I've got cat.
Yeah, he's already there.
I think he's hopping up. I think he's on the hop up.
He's already there. Cat weak. I got stuck. Someone grab.
Another one behind me, close.
What was
Nice,
that?
I have time. I'm one off streaks. Hold up. Let me soak.
You can run through right if you want.
You guys can go. Yo, left side mid, dead. I got a health storm.
Yo, watch out the choke. Watch out the choke.
Okay, pinch our cat.
I got one.
Open.
I'm going cat.
Open
on me.
Cat Joe, jump it down, cat. Let's go.
Get off.
Let's go, baby.
Fucking go.
Good shit, Kyler. Holy fuck. Use the world star, those guys. Let's go.
Nice fucking map.
That's good shot.
Good shit. Kyler, you fucking tucking good shit, bro.
Dead. Last guy's out.
Okay, I heard you. I'm top dark.
One shot. Tell him. He's their side outer.
Gets away with his life now on a full regen. Beans has to check it.
I love this.
Not getting that.
You got it.
Will he play the bomb? He's now gotta go.
That's awful.
Good shit.
Nice.
Good shit, mate.
Wow.
That was the perfect hop.
No, literally the perfect.
Because it's still 50-50 for him.
Watch your cat.
Another one, I think.
No, lip, slid the point.
One more point. He's at the box. White box.
Hold on, to get the shake.
White box. 1 HP, bro. Literally 1 HP.
Good shit.
Yeah,
Let's
take her
fucking
now.
go. No.
We're up one.
We're up one.
On this other.
I mean, if not for losing the
Put him down.
it would have been outstanding stuff. You kept Ultra at bay for felt like an eternity. They managed to get that one little window open though, and they
Beat breaker now.
Holy fuck, I'm dying.
I'm down. I'll go trips. Good night.
Bro just took a blinker.
Bro just ripped the Valley College.
Yeah, the bro just took a blinker.
My bad.
That shit's contagious.
I-
So dog shit. Holy
They're
fuck.
actually.
Guarantee
We
I
got a
got
sidewalk. Sidewalk or heli steps. One shot on point. Beans.
Inside dead.
Beans was one shot.
Yo, one's in there going bottom
Team
trips,
kill,
in the
team
middle.
kill.
I think I sidewalk. I think I
Goes.
sidewalk. Nice.
Nice.
Fucking
Good
go,
fucking
bro.
shit, boys.
Come the fuck on.
Seriously.
That's a huge
Dog
fucking
shit.
match.